Light spoilers ahead, I'll be talking about the story. Sorry, I managed to get ill again, voice is rough, and this video is late. Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail's latest patch is here, 7.2, Seekers of Eternity. And I've gotta say, I'm getting interested in where the story is going now.
Do you speak true?
There's some pretty awesome new raid fights with the Arcadion Cruiserweight series. And what might be the hardest extreme fight I've ever seen.
You've no time even to fear my wrath!
That said, what I was most excited for was the Occult Crescent, a new 48-player endgame activity where you level up new phantom jobs like Chemist, Geomancer and Time Mage. Sounds awesome, but the Occult Crescent and some other patch features won't be available till a later date, which is disappointing.
Is that so?
So, Seekers of Eternity is the next chapter in Final Fantasy XIV's story. Basically, we're in the futuristic city of Solution 9, we're fighting some new nerdy antagonist called Calyx, and he clearly has malicious plans for Solution 9 citizens. We're fighting Calyx alongside Queen Sphene and everybody's favourite character, Wooklamart. I've got to admit, I kind of enjoyed the story. I thought it was better than the previous patch's story. I feel like Sphene is developing into a much more interesting character.
I cannot help but feel lonely.
Throughout Dawntrail, we see Sphene as a fancy posh queen, but we're getting to see a different side of her. She's a lot more down to earth, and it's easier to feel empathetic towards Sphene.
Please, help me.
We end up going to the new Underkeep Dungeon. I'm still making Wooklamart clear all the trash for me in my dungeons. She's got to pay me back for all that work I did for her, making her Dawn Queen at the start of this expansion.
I wouldn't have come this far without you as allies.
The Underkeep goes under the city of Solution 9 and leads into the ruins of Alexandria, so lots of Final Fantasy IX references. The castle stairs at this angle look a lot like the original, and I instantly recognised the Underkeep's final boss, Valia Pira, which I remember was a boss in Kuja's lair. Hands down, my favourite part of the story comes straight after this dungeon, and that's when our antagonist Calyx unleashes Zelenia, a robotic knight
and sworn blade of Her Majesty the Queen.
This boss is just a huge reference to Beatrix from Final Fantasy IX. Zelenia even looks a little bit like Beatrix. You might recognise loads of Beatrix's abilities, and there's really awesome music that's a remix of Something to Protect, which always reminds me of Steiner and Beatrix cleaning up the streets of Alexandria in Final Fantasy IX. But like I was saying, the extreme version of Zelenia was really hard. I think it might be the hardest extreme fight I've ever done in Final Fantasy XIV.
I will show you the soul of a royal knight!
There is so much going on and different stacking symbols and markers on the floor. I'm not colourblind, but I found it really hard to even see what was going on. It's easy to just brain fart trying to calculate what's going on and where the safe spots are.
Forgive me, my queen. I have failed you.
But don't brain fart too much. Instead, if you're enjoying this, consider subbing to Peter Bytes or liking the video for more content like this. Cover lots of RPGs, you might like my Final Fantasy series where I'm replaying them all and ranking them against each other as I go. Thank you.
Bloody things have gone mad!
After Zelenia, we get to return to Solution 9, where chaos is brewing with its robots turning hostile on your average citizens. I like this bit with all the main characters defending the city, and ultimately setting up the next part of the story. Overall, I thought the story was decent. I'm kind of interested to see where it goes. Now we have more of an antagonist, and I think Sphene's developing into a much more likeable character.
This is wrong. This is all wrong.
Something else that came with the Seekers of Eternity patch were some changes to Frontlines, and if you love large-scale PvP like I do, you'll appreciate this little update. The original Frontline map has been disabled in-game for a while now, but this patch reopens it with some updates and changes to make it play better. The changes aren't huge, but they make the map a bit more interesting with jump pads and reworked objectives to fight over. They've also added a selection of new PvP abilities for each role. You can choose one ability out of 3 new ones, and they're pretty powerful and fun to use. Mages can get a new Comet spell, which is my favourite of the new abilities. new PvP series, or season as well. That means a new little pseudo battle pass. I'm working through this to get that mount at the end. Another big highlight of the patch so far has got to be the Arcadion Cruiserweight raid. That's 4 new bosses to work through. First boss is the Frogman, Dancing Green, who's got his own support dancing frogs in the background.
Dance like there's no tomorrow!
Personally, I'm not a huge fan of when mechanics force my character to dance. Second boss, Sugar Riot, can paint stuff into reality and change the battlefield into different landscapes.
What do you say to a refreshing riverscape?
That in turn changes up the fight's mechanics. Third boss is easily my favourite, the Brute Abominator. Basically, one of the previous Arcadion bosses overdoses and ends up mutating himself into a monster. Love the heavier music here, it's a bit more serious and a contrast from the more light-hearted previous 2 bosses. You end up fighting the Abominator through the city as the environments get destroyed. Really cool fight. And I quite like the final Arcadion boss, the Howling Blade. This guy looks like some kind of Gundam mech. I think it'd be so cool if we could get armor sets and weapons that look like this in the future. Yeah, the Brute Abominator is definitely my favourite raid boss of the 4, with the Howling Blade in second place. And to be honest, that's all we've got with the patch so far. New Allied Society daily quests, the Cosmic Exploration, which is the new content for crafters and gatherers, and the Occult Crescent. Sadly, we can't play any of this new stuff yet. All of this is opening up a month or 2 into this patch.
That doesn't make sense.
I feel really mixed on this. Clearly the game's content is being stretched out to retain players or subscribers over a longer period of time. I feel Dawntrail has already been starved of content for a lot of its lifespan. So it's a bit naff that this stuff is being stretched out. But at the same time, I do feel that right now I have a decent amount of content to work through with all the new raid stuff. But I am genuinely really looking forward to the Occult Crescent. It looks like a large-scale endgame activity that's going to be really fun and less players a while with relic weapons to grind. But yeah, I'm going to have to hold out till the 27th of May for that.
The audacity. Do we know who's behind this?
So I can only speak for the content we've got so far. I think the story and characters are getting better. The trial and raid fights are really good, visually amazing and challenging. Zelenia Extreme is brutal. I feel like Dawntrail has been mostly starved of content. I've had very little reason to log in for the majority of Dawntrail's lifespan, but at least I've got new raids and gear to farm. Plenty to do right now. I'm going to take my time and enjoy some PvP with all the little improvements to Frontlines. Going to complete that pseudo battle pass and get that new mount. I want to give the patch a thumbs up so far, but really I'll need to report back on the other half of the patch and the Occult Crescent in about 2 months' time. Alright, have a good one.